So first, what is a cache? So it's a fast temporary storage. It's like very fast, but it's a temporary storage. So the idea is it stores derived or duplicated data. So the idea is that first we'll fetch the data from the RAM, and whatever data we want to access frequently, we store it in the cache. So it stores either the derived data, means whatever the raw data we got from the RAM, we process it, and intermediate data we store it in the cache. So that is a sort of a derived data, and also the duplicated data we can store it in cache. It is optimized for speed and low latency. So cache we use because of low latency, because we already saw in the previous slide, databases latency is a big problem. For ultra low latency use cases, cache is very important, and it usually keeps the data in memory, that is the RAM. So cache, it directly interacts with the RAM and not the hard disk. Now, why cache exists? Like what problem the cache is solving? Now we already saw databases are slower than memory, and memory, if I talk about RAM. Many requests ask for the same data repeatedly. So there are many scenarios wherein same data we will be wanting repeatedly. So instead of fetching it again and again from databases, which can be time consuming, it's a better approach to store it in something called as cache memory, which is like very fast. So we can keep on accessing it from there, and very significant performance enhancement we will get, performance improvement we'll get. And when read dominates write in many systems. So whenever there is a more read operations as compared to write operations. So the idea is that instead of reading the same thing again and again from the database, what if we can make use of the cache, and we can, if we can just reuse it, then it can be a very big thing. And that is what where cache comes into the picture. So the idea is, why recompute or refetch? Why recompute or refetch what we already know? That is the main philosophy behind using cache memory. Now the challenges. So trade-offs introduced by cache. The challenges. So if we talk about the challenges associated with the cache, so we have a problem of stale data. Now, what is this stale data? Let us understand. So see, now we already know that we have database, we have DB, that is a database. Now the application, the app, instead of directly like first request, it might directly interact with the database. Then that information is stored in something called as cache memory. Now subsequent requests to that particular data, we will not do it from the database, rather we'll keep on calling the cache. Now what problem might occur is that, what if that data gets changed in the database? Because ultimately write is something which is happening in the database. See, database is the source of truth. So database containing the latest data, and cache, since it is containing some old data, like not that old. Old means here we can say that a data we try to fetch, first we are storing it in cache. Now the data in the cache can become stale. How it can become stale is, like, let us suppose the value of it is 5, and in the database it became 10. Now cache is unaware of that, so unfortunately we will keep on using 5. So the data got stale. So this is a very big challenge. So there are mechanisms to deal with it, but we have to deal with it. So it's a challenge. Cache invalidation complexity. Yeah. So as like just now we discussed stale data. So cache, the data in the cache, it can invalidate also. So cache invalidation complexity is a very big challenge. And consistency challenges. Because of this, consistency challenges will be there. So the big challenge is to maintain the state of the database. Like database is something which is like in the real time it is updating. But cache memory, like the data we want to access frequently, we are just storing a copy of it from the database. Now let us suppose if we make any changes in the cache, we have to make that changes in the database as well. Or if any changes has been done in the database, we have to migrate those changes into the cache as well. So there is a it is a challenge, so some efforts needs to be put. So that is what the challenges are associated with the cache: consistency challenge, stale data challenge, cache invalidation complexity. So now we'll discuss one very interesting quote worth mentioning. There are only two hard problems in computer science: cache invalidation and naming things. So cache invalidation is like a very popular and a hard problem, and there are quotes also on it. Like it has been said that there are only two hard problems in computer science. One is the cache invalidation, and another is the naming things. So this is a quote by Phil Carlton.